So CIMA has put together a document called Beyond Budgeting, which is a range of tools and techniques, including things like the balanced scorecard, shareholder value analysis and rolling forecasts, that they see as an answer to the problems with traditional budgeting. They identify that traditional budgeting was something that came about in the 1920s, focusing very much on costs and cash flows. And they say that by the 1960s, that method of traditional budgeting had become very much fixed contracts between senior management and subordinates. And they say there are very serious limitations to that method of command and control style budgeting. They rarely focus on strategy and can often be very contradictory. Are very time-consuming to put together. You could have whole organisations literally being run by the budget process and costly to put together. They constrain responsiveness and flexibility, often deter change, add little value, especially given the time taken to put together, focus on cost reduction rather than value creation, and, as I said, strengthen that vertical command and control style structures of an organisation. Now, I think we may be getting ahead of ourselves with many organisations if we start talking about beyond budgeting. Many organisations do not do budgeting. Simply Business did some research in 2010 and found that 54% of businesses are not budgeting. Now, I've talked with other management accountants in practice about this, and we thought it was probably nearer to 95%. And we come across a lot of SMEs and are very aware of which ones are and aren't budgeting. So anecdotally, that is what we've actually found. And you may think, well, so what? What does it matter? Well, SMEs, there's about 4.5 million of them in the UK. They make up about 50% of private sector turnover. That's a total of about £1.5 billion combined turnover. And they employ about 60% of private sector employees. So I think if all of those businesses are not budgeting, that's a serious problem, and there's a huge room for improvement of those organisations. Now, 66% of businesses actually fail within the first year. And the reasons they fail are things like cash flow management, lack of finance, lack of financial expertise, lack of focus, lack of insurance, lack of market knowledge, a reliance on a very small number of customers, lack of resources, tax bills that they hadn't foreseen or even thought about, and finally incompetence. Now, I think there's very few of those that couldn't actually be really dealt with by a good business plan and a budget. I mean, incompetence you're probably not going to sort out, but budgeting can't do everything.